end of the Lenten season, and Master Koppe's herring barrels were nearly empty. Nimshen was his last stop, as he planned with Dr. Martinus. Yes, Martin Luther did help us, although I often told him that I wished he would have found an easier way for us to escape. It was on Easter Sunday, as you know, in 1523, while Master Koppe was emptying his barrels of fish in the convent kitchen. 11 of us climbed down a rope from the second-story window and hid in the empty herring barrels. What a smell! Shh! Everyone asked if the convict was still asleep. Master Koppe loaded us onto his wagon and took us to Martin's home. It was not exactly a royal carriage ride. All packed in the barrels like herrings. Finally, we arrived at Wittenberg on Tuesday. Each of us smelling like pickled fish. The Augustinian monastery was empty, except for Dr. Martin Luther and Prime Brisker. They called it the Black Cloister. It was a huge 3-story building, so there was plenty of room to keep us apart from the men. What we were lacking was clothes and money. 2 of our nuns were placed right away with their relatives, but 9 of us still remained. People started to talk. One of the students wrote a letter to his friend. I have no other news, the letter ended, except that a few days ago, a wagon load of Vestal virgins came to town, more eager for wedlock than for life. God grant them husbands before they fare worse. Luther mobilized all of his colleagues to help us find marriages. His friend Amsdorff wrote a letter. They are beautiful and ladylike, all of noble birth and under 50. But they have no shoes. Hurry, for they are in great distress, but very patient. Before too long, 6 other nuns were taken to their relatives, which left me and 2 Schönfeld sisters in Wittenberg. They stayed with the family of the painter Lukas Cranach, and I stayed with the lawyer, Mr. Reichenbach.
What did you do now that you were free of the convent?
What did we do when we were free from the convent? As you know, we were looking for work and a husband, which wasn't so easy. You see, I was already 26 years old. Most women in my days would marry in their early teens and died in childbirth. You see, I was formally designated to the religious life at the age of 9. I took the veil at 16. Nobody really knew what to do with an ex-nun. It had not really happened before. Most of the believers thought that to throw off the veil would be adultery. Luther tried to find me husband, but I turned all of them down. But, to tell the truth, right at the beginning, I fell in love with a very handsome young rich man named Hieronymus Baumgartner from Nuremberg. He was on a visit to Wittenberg. We wanted to get married, so he decided to go back to Nuremberg and tell his family about me. But his family was not about to let him marry penniless ex-nun, even if I was of noble birth. Too poor. So they found him really beautiful, rich teenage brother. I never saw him again. So my heart was broken for the second time. I was not exactly a feminine beauty of my time, and I must admit, I was stubborn. However, when the King of Denmark asked Lucas Cranach to present the three of us to him, he ended up calling me Katarina of Siena and gave me a gold ring for a keepsake. And later, Lucas Cranach made a really nice portrait of me, so I suppose I was not so unattractive. At one point, Luther tried to marry me to his friend, Armsdorf. And again I said no. Finally, I asked him why he never suggested himself as a husband for me.
I don't think he'd like to talk right now.
I don't believe you. And I don't know why you're keeping him from me.
You know, sweetheart, when you were younger, there were several men that came to the house one day. They told us that they were police officers. Do you remember that?
No.
They told us they were here to conduct a very special procedure. Sweetheart. And then they drew their guns. There was something in the air, which until then was perfectly transparent and out of the way, which at this particular moment, the moment when the guns came out, hardened into a cluster of something opaque, blocking the rest out. The police started shouting, and the shouting rang through the house and sounded like a song of a very special bird, sweetheart. And right then, and the shouting like a bird song rang, the officers stopped moving. They stopped having bodies. Just linger there. Your father and I lived like this for some time, for your early years. Until the shadows went away.
I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. I want to see him.
You should ask someone else.